I saw that there has been training happening with masks. I just want to know how the training process has been during this really tough time with your season being canceled.
Yeah. So we eased into it in the first week where we were kind of keeping them just in like pods of like who they live with, making sure that they have their masks on just so that like they're still being safe. And obviously we're outside, so that definitely helps. And the weather's been great, so we've been able to get out there. We weren't exactly sure how they were going to be able to, what level they were going to be at because their fitness wise, like we weren't sure because we haven't seen them in almost 6 months. And also training in a mask is a little bit more difficult. So we just want to make sure that we're giving them, enough breaks to make sure that like they're dealing with it. But we've actually been pretty impressed. Last week we started to go a little bit bigger, play on like 7-on-7 and a little bit of 11-on-11, and it looks like pretty normal.
What are the main difficulties you or the players have encountered during this time?
A lot of the guys just, I think they're without soccer and without seeing each other. I think they've just been like pretty down. I mean, that's one thing about like being at DePaul and living in Lincoln Park. Like you come here because it's not just about like the academics. It's about like being in Chicago and experiencing the city and being in one of the coolest neighborhoods in the country. And for the guys to like not be here and being at home like with their families, which it's awesome to have that family time. But I know they want to be together and be hanging out in Lincoln Park.
Especially during the fall. Like it's just so like I've been feeling so nostalgic, like just being there and like the sweater weather and the coffees and going on the owl.
Exactly.
Whole DePaul experience, and now we're not feeling it. So are you guys talking about anything in regards of like returning?
So last week, there are discussions and like we were able to see kind of like a preliminary plan for what would happen. So the NCAA came out and said that the NCAA tournament would happen in like April and May, and that like the first competition date could be like February 3rd. So the Big East then came out with like a preliminary plan and sent it over to us, and we took a look at it. And so we're hoping to start playing Big East play sometime in March, and then with like the Big East tournament happening in April. So fingers crossed that all goes.
So when you guys do return, do you anticipate having fans in the stands at a social distance rate or no?
That's a good question. I would be interested to see that once we get there. Hopefully we're at the point where like if we're allowed to play, we can at least have like some parents, maybe like close friends in the stands.
What has been going on during this time that we should expect to be new next season when you guys do get back?
So we added a really good group of freshmen, and so they've been in. And then we had a transfer goalkeeper that joined us. He was supposed to join us last March, and then obviously like wasn't able to come to school. So we finally been able to work with him this fall, and it's been fun to see how excited he has been to finally be here. And so we have 11 new guys that we're super pumped about, and they've been doing extremely well, and the trainings have been awesome so far. I think we'll have a few more attacking options this year, a deeper midfield, a deeper back line, and our goalkeeping core is fantastic. So I think just from like an overall perspective, we're just going to have a lot more depth and a lot more options, and I think we're going to be playing a lot more guys.
As far as high school seniors involving recruitment, how is that going to change for you and your recruitment squad for these seniors right now who's also their seasons just completely fell apart in the fall?
Yeah, I mean, all of us coaches have talked about it. We just feel terrible for them because they haven't had the exposure. Like usually, March, April, and like over the summer, that's like the biggest time for us to see a lot of like the juniors who are about to be seniors. Thankfully, like myself and my assistant coaches are awesome. So we were pretty ahead of it as far as like the 2021 class goes. So we're just about finished up. Like we identified some kids that we really liked and really wanted, and we feel really, really, really good about our 2021 class. So we're actually in a good spot, thankfully. This is going to be like a really good turning point year for us. Like we do feel the energy is a little bit different. I think, having the depth that we've had and getting some guys back from injury, like David Gritman, who was a freshman last year, who scored 2 goals in his first college game and then tore his ACL in his 4th game, like not having him last year, and then Zach's injury, and then Isaac Frent, who, we brought in from Indiana, who's one of our like most dynamic attacking players, like took a career-ending injury. And so we're going to be sad to not have him back this year. But I think like getting David back and then adding in some of the younger guys into the fold, I think you're going to see a slightly different team. And I think it's time for us to kind of like turn and start to get a few more wins in the win column and have a little bit more fun out there.